Welcome to Lewd Mood. I'm Becky.
And I'm Kelly.
And we're your hosts, two 40-something-year-old college roommates ready to take you on a wild ride through the bizarre, scandalous, and downright lewd news of the world and our own lives.
This is going to be good, folks. We promise you'll have a blast. So, without further ado, let's do this. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Lewd Mood. I am Kelly.
And I'm Becky. And we're back for another episode.
We're back for another episode. So Becky, I am at the tail end of my vacation.
Oh man, that's a bummer.
I know. I'm actually excited to get back and, be doing work again.
You've had enough of sitting around and being at home and
I've been living my best life to be. I've gone for a million walks.
Nice.
Look at how tan I am.
You are tan. I said that to you when we logged on. I'm like, you're so much tanner the last time I saw you.
Goddess right now.
You really are.
But you know what I have been doing a lot of?
What?
Reading A Court of Thorn and Roses.
Yes, girl.
You have dragged me into that fairy book life, and now I'm obsessed.
The fairy smut is now in your life. What did you think? Did you finish the first book?
I did finish the first book, and I am well on my way into the second book.
Oh,
and
okay.
I have some theories that we can talk about offline because I don't want to spoil it for anyone.
Yes.
But I am really into this, and I'm not really a fantasy fairies and weird pointy ear stuff kind of person.
Not either.
That's not my thing.
No.
But I'm really digging
okay. I'm so glad. Let me just tell you, book 2, it gets real good towards the end. Ooh. And what I mean by real good, it just gets really spicy.
Spicy? Okay.
Yeah, you're going to like it.
Like ghost pepper?
It is like ghost pepper spicy in your pants.
Whoa!
It's good. So stick with book 2. They reward you for reading the 600 pages of it. Now, I just started book 3. Okay. A funny story about that. So I have been traveling a lot the last couple of weeks. I was in Houston last week. This week I was in DC, and I got home yesterday. And I started book 3, and I realized I had one chapter left of book 2, and I didn't finish it before I left.
Yeah.
And so I started book 3, and I had no fucking idea what was going on because the last chapter of book 2, apparently a lot happened, and I missed all of it. So I got to go backwards. But I have a story to tell you about what happened yesterday at the airport.
Okay, I'm here for it.
Okay, so my flight was out of DC, no problems, like noon.
Yeah.
Fly into Chicago and have like a 3-hour layover, which is too much time, but it's also like, okay, I can go to the bathroom. I can eat some real food, like sit at a restaurant and eat, get a coffee, read my book, stretch out a little bit, walk around. So no problems. Get on my flight to Des Moines, which is at 4:00, and get on the plane. Plane goes out, taxis around the runway for like 20 minutes. We're on like a standstill, and they announce, of course, there's problems. Long story short, we end up having to go back to the gate and all deplane because a big storm was coming through. Now, Kelly, you live in the Chicagoland area. Yep. So you and I are texting, and you're like, yeah, there's a big storm. It seems to be moving fast. So, you're giving me my live weather updates as I'm trying to figure out when the heck my flight's going to leave. So on the plane, I make friends with the gentleman sitting next to me. Nice guy, a little bit older than me, lives in Des Moines. I think I know his wife, kind of like small world, right? So he says he has a guest pass to go into the American Airlines Lounge. Now, I ain't bougie. Not that level of bougie. I've never been in a lounge in my life. He was like, would you like to go and eat and drink for free? I'm like, yes, I would. Yeah. So nice guy lets me into the lounge. We're sitting at the bar watching the Kentucky Derby, and there's another man sitting at the lounge also who's on the same flight as us, who is flying into Des Moines as well. Apparently those two guys had met earlier in the day in the lounge. So they kind of already had this established relationship. We get to chatting, and at some point we all exchange business cards. Come to find out that the gentleman that was there in the lounge is the son of one of our former very popular and notable political figures in Iowa. So this guy He very chatty,
Yep.
very friendly. We're all, chat. Oh, why were you traveling for
Yep.
work? Blah blah blah, telling our stories or whatever. And he was just on his way back from Madrid, where
Oh,
one of his clients
great.
had flown him out for the tennis matches that were happening. And he's saying this like I'm supposed to know that there's tennis going on in Madrid.
Yeah.
I absolutely do not know this,
You're like,
but
sir, I only know the pickleball circuit, so tennis, not my thing.
yeah, I don't even know if I could name a current tennis player other than like Serena or Venus Williams. Like I just don't know. So
Serena's retired, so
okay, well there you go. See, I don't fucking know. So especially a European one, right?
yeah.
So he is, showing us pictures. Oh, there was a supermodel at our dinner, and oh, the bills were like, oh, my wine was $600. He's name dropping, name dropping, name dropping,
Yeah.
and very quickly I figure out like this guy is a one upper,
Yeah.
you know. And it got old kind of fast, but I was entertained. And the gentleman on the other side of me that let me into the lounge was also very entertained by this. So we're going back and forth for a while, and he is like showing me his new Gucci slides that he
Oh,
bought and his new, what are those little alligator shirts? Is it Lacoste or Lacoste?
Yeah, like Lacoste.
Yes. And later on, I Googled this guy because I knew that this person, if he was who I thought he was,
Yeah.
had done something really bad in his past,
Yeah.
like as a young adult. And what I mean by bad is killed somebody while
What?
driving drunk.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Mhm.
Oh.
And so me and the gentleman sitting next to me on the plane, once we get back on the plane, decide to Google him to affirm our suspicions.
Yeah.
And yes, in fact, he was. The worst part of that story is he got off, no jail time, and paid a $34 fine.
Oh. Shocker.
And can I tell you, the man had 6 beers in the 2 to 2.5 hours we sat in the lounge. So
Oh, good. Yeah, because we don't learn our lesson.
yeah, daddy bailed him out. And also, he drank a lot of Dom Perignon over the weekend.
Oh,
Just, Kelly, just so much. Like an Aperol spritz, just all weekend long. So
oh, poor
boy,
pumpkin.
he is a big man.
Oh,
But also he was shorter than me. So
short king.
not a
Short
king.
jester. Short
Short jester.
jester.
Yeah, short jester.
Mhm.
Not impressed. Not impressed.
And this also is a good transition into our first ever true crime pop culture pop off.
Oh my God, I'm here for it. I'm ready.
All right.
What do you got?
So I, as you know, get my news from the most trusted source,
TikTok.
TikTok. Yes.
TikTok.
So I was, scrolling through the TikTok. This story popped up about this woman named Mika Miller or Micah Miller. I'm not sure which one it is, but we're going to call
Okay.
her Mika for the purposes of this story.
Okay, yes.
So Mika is a 30-year-old woman who unalived herself,
Mm,
allegedly,
okay.
in the woods in North Carolina.
Oh, sad.
Very sad. How she did it was a gunshot wound to the head,
Oh, well, I mean, that's kind of how it goes.
the back of the head.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that doesn't seem possible.
Yeah. So I was like, this is interesting. Um,
Hmm.
so it turns out Micah is the estranged wife of a pastor named John Paul Miller. John Paul
Okay.
Miller is based out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
A
And
pastor?
he's a pastor. He owns a church
Hmm.
in Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
And old John Paul did a sermon the day after his estranged wife passed away. And
Okay.
it went something like towards the end of the sermon, he said, need everybody stand up. Now, what I'm going to tell you, I don't want to hear anybody when you're leaving. I don't want to hear anybody talking about it. This is, we're not gossiping, kind of that
Mm.
thing. And he's
Okay.
like, my wife killed herself, self-inflicted wound kind of thing in North Carolina. No emotion
He
to it.
announced it to the congregation of his church.
Announced it to the congregation of his church that his wife had unalived herself. And yeah, he's like, well, I need you to pray for me and my kids, just very nonchalantly.
Mm.
Um, and that was posted online. So as we're TikTok diving,
Mhm.
we find out a couple things. We find out that she had served him divorce papers 48 hours prior and had requested a no contact order.
Oh, no.
Yes. So they
Oh,
had
boy.
been separated for few months here, long enough
Okay.
for him to have a girlfriend, which the girlfriend will come into play in a minute.
Okay.
So he's got a girlfriend. She is making posts on Facebook like, if you're in an abusive relationship, whether it's verbal abuse or somebody's giving you illegal drugs or forcing you into hospitals,
His girlfriend?
his wife is saying these things.
Oh, I'm sorry. So the wife was talking about domestic abuse on Facebook or
Yep.
whatever
Like, hey, if you're in a
prior.
domestic abuse case, there's hope. And she's like,
Yeah,
I
you
found a
can
new
get it
church.
out.
I just got baptized at my new church. She seems very happy and well.
Yeah. Right, because she's gotten away from this man she didn't want to be married to anymore, obviously. Was not a good situation.
Yes.
Okay, got
Um,
it.
yeah. So she is posting that like he was just completely awful to her.
Ugh.
So the backstory of how they met is, so we're going to rewind it.
Yeah, let's go back.
So they met when she was 14 years old. He was her youth pastor. He was 28.
For fuck's sake.
Yes. But they were friends until she was 23 and they got married.
Wait a minute. Pause. 14 and 28. A man twice her age
Yes.
who was her leader in a church.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So, they did the right thing and waited till she was 23 to get married because he was also married at the time.
Oh, sure. Of course he was.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So once he got divorced, they got together and were married for 7 years.
Okay.
But in this time, all of a sudden, she started having mental health issues. And she
Hmm.
was like put in a hospital for her mental health issues.
Serious.
During the time that she was put in the hospital, he did a sermon about how people shouldn't be gossiping, and if he said especially women shouldn't be telling their business to anyone, and if they are, it's because they have a demon in them.
Oh, okay.
And he
Have
said,
you
as an example, my wife was in the hospital and I looked at her phone, and over the last 2 years I found 18 different people that were
marital advice?
giving her marital advice, and he was like, no, that's a demon in you.
Has he met a woman before?
uh well,
Apparently not.
clearly not.
Wow, what a control freak.
Yeah, so
He
he's
clearly didn't want his shit out in the open because there was clearly shit going on.
yeah, I mean, obviously there's some like
Yeah.
deep stuff.
Okay, so the general gist is he clearly wanted to control this woman who
Yeah,
was unhappy with the
allegedly.
relationship. Yes, there was probably things going on along the lines of abuse allegedly
Yeah,
that she was telling people about. He didn't want his business out there because of course he is a pastor and has an image to maintain, and no Christian man beats his wife, although we know they do.
yeah,
So okay, got it. So the mental health issues may have been inflicted by him.
correct.
Got it. Wow, he
Yeah,
sounds like a real piece of work.
yeah. So 48 hours after she served him with official divorce papers, she allegedly killed herself. Right,
With a gunshot wound to the
to the
back of
back of
her
her
own
head.
head. Yeah, not real easy to do.
Correct. So when you go deep a little further, he's got this new girlfriend,
Mhm.
alleged new girlfriend named Susie. And
Okay.
Susie was married to a man who was a paraplegic, and he got in a car accident when he was 20. His friend was drunk driving, and they hit a tree, and he became paraplegic.
That's
But
terrible.
he was like a motivational speaker. He
Yeah,
was very independent.
sure.
Um, One day, he did his normal routine, which was going to the pool. He normally
Mhm.
took the kids to the pool, but this day he did not take the kids. He
Okay.
just went down by the pool by himself.
Okay. Oh,
And
I know where this is
he
going.
accidentally
Hmm.
he
Drown.
drowned in the pool
Yeah. Wow.
mysteriously
Wow.
3 years prior.
Okay. Please tell me Susie and what's his nuts had some secret affair going on at that time.
It has not come out yet,
But you know they did.
but they've been
Sure.
friends for a long time.
Oh, of course they have.
And of course, the day after Mika was killed, or however that happened,
Yes, died.
him and Susie were out laughing and joking at
Mm,
having dinner.
they're free.
They're free.
They're free.
Yes.
Okay.
So that,
How stupid do you have to be
so dumb.
to to unalive your spouse, separated spouse, estranged spouse, divorced ex whoever?
Yeah.
Everybody always knows it's the husband. It's always the husband.
Always, the husband is going
Always.
to be the first person
Yes.
they suspect, especially if you're getting a divorce.
He couldn't even let the ink dry on those papers before he did it. Like that seems to me like a crime of passion, because 48 hours, like I'm barely over any irritation in 48 hours. Like I can hang on to shit for a long time. I
Yeah.
can't imagine someone as narcissistic as him letting go of the fact that he was served papers by a woman that he clearly wanted to control and he had no control over her doing this. So,
Do you want to hear part of her obituary?
oh my God.
So
Do I?
her obituary starts off, normal. Like she was survived by this person, this person, this person. She
Mhm.
loved her dog. She's a mother, whatever. And then there's a part of it that reads, she truly served Jesus and her husband with all her heart. She would praise her husband after every church service, even if it wasn't true. She also told him he was the funniest person in the world.
That was in her own obituary?
And there's like more stuff. Like there's like a whole like big paragraph that is so like you're like, what the actual F? And it's just all about how great this man is and all like
Oh my God.
the narcissism.
Is showing.
Even if it's true that she did kill herself.
Sure.
The amount of narcissism that you have to have as a
Yeah.
human being to write
Yeah.
a huge, thick paragraph
Yeah.
about yourself in somebody else's obituary.
It's unreal.
Un
Wow, what the fuck?
I know.
So where's it at? Are they investigating it? Like, has
So
it
the
a
coroner
homicide?
said we do not have enough information to confirm that this is a suicide. So it is
Okay.
open right now until the
Ah,
coroner, because this was recent, right? It was the
sure.
27th of
Oh,
April.
wow.
So it was
That just
very
happened
recent.
like a week ago.
But there was seen a U-Haul just outside the church.
Mhm.
So somebody was moving some things.
Interesting.
Very, very, very.
So in this day and age where there are cameras on every corner, it's got to be near impossible to get away with any kind of crime. It has to be nearly impossible
Yeah.
because there are cameras literally everywhere. And I mean, this guy must be so full of himself,
Oh,
so narcissistic that he must have so much confidence that no one would ever suspect him.
you have to go back. Like you have to go on TikTok and listen to
I'm
this
gonna.
douche canoe's sermons.
Oh no, I don't.
It was like,
Yeah.
I have a private jet. I blah 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 blah. Like just the amount of narcissism in this man is like, oh my god. His poor
Interesting.
wife.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of the Scott Peterson and Lacey Peterson case.
Yeah.
That
Oh
is
yeah.
a lot is happening with that. Maybe we should talk about that on a podcast because that is a wild story as well. And it's resurfaced in the news because now there's some, I'm going to put air quotes around some potential proof that maybe he didn't kill his pregnant wife,
Yeah.
which he obviously did. Like, but wow.
I know.
That's bananas. That poor woman, may she rest in peace. I hope that TikTok does its things and they figure out something. Cause TikTok,
Yeah.
people on there are true investigators.
Oh yeah.
Also on Reddit, also there's people on there that have like solved crimes. It's unreal. So
As
boy,
there's like way more stuff, but that's just the gist of it. So I encourage people to like go on TikTok and really get into this case because it is wild.
so
Yeah,
wow, that's
I know
nuts.
it's wild. It makes me be very leery about dating, like on the Bumble Beat. Shall we get into it? Bumble
I'm
Beat.
Kelly, I'm nervous for what you're going to ask me and what you're going to present to me because you literally just gave me like pure narcissism on a plate that ended with a tragedy. So, is this what I'm getting on the Bumble Beat this week?
You sure are. So for
Oh,
today, we have 3 eligible suitors. As you know, this is our favorite game to play, the Bumble Beat. So as I read you these 3 eligible suitors, I want you to guess which one is most likely to end up on true crime
okay.
in a bad way
Oh boy.
as the star.
Yeah. As the star of the show. Okay.
All right. So
Ugh.
suitor number 1, his name is Greg. Greg's a nice guy looking for something good. He likes old things and likes to fix and tinker.
How old is Greg?
41.
He used the word tinker.
Tinker. Fix and
Got it.
tinker. Okay, so Tinker
Okay.
Greg.
Tinker Greg.
All
Okay.
right. Suitor number 2, his name is Brooks. He's 40. Brooks is fresh on the market. He's one of the good guys.
Sure.
He can talk to your mom, and then we'll go golf with your dad.
Okay.
Okay. Non-negotiables.
Oh boy.
If you voted for Biden, come on, man. And
That's all he said?
no, but he also is obsessed with there are only 2 genders.
Okay.
Okay. And suitor number 3, his name's Ryan. He's 38. He's a union electrician. He's very spontaneous and adventurous. He loves to camp, fish, and play video games. He also is wearing a Ghostbusters outfit in one of his pictures.
Well, I don't hate that.
No, it's Halloween.
Oh, okay. It's not like
Right.
for fun. Just it's a Halloween party. Okay.
All right, Becky. So, as you know, we get to pick which one is most likely to be featured in a Dateline episode.
I
Suitor
don't
number
know.
1, Greg, Tinker Greg. Suitor number 2, Brooks. And suitor number 3, Ryan.
Okay. Well, at first I had a weird red flag pop up with Greg with the word tinker,
Right.
only because that's like what old people say. But
Yeah.
he likes old things, and honestly, it seems a little innocent.
Yeah.
So if that's like the highlight of his day, probably not gonna murder me, I'm guessing. So
Yeah.
Ryan, if I'm skipping to number 3, camp, fish, video games, Ghostbuster shirt, he seems like a guy that's got a sense of humor,
Yeah.
who likes me. I don't know. I mean, he didn't say like I'm going to the bars and I mean, he just seems kind of low key. Brooks, number 2.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Brooks real quick. So I don't care if he has an opinion about who I voted for or not. But the non-negotiable, the weird like two gender thing, he clearly isn't very smart
No.
because there's a difference between sex and gender.
Yeah.
So they're not the same.
Right.
So we would immediately off the bat get in a fight because I would try to teach him something, but I don't think Brooks can be taught. So uh, I think we'd get in a fight and it would not go well. And uh, Brooks would be the star of the show. So I'm going to say Brooks would be on a true crime show for sure.
I also agree with you. Red flags with Brooks for me. Right
Yeah.
here. The fact that number 1, he's one of the good ones, right? It's
Yeah.
like when somebody announces they're an alpha. Like
Yeah.
alphas don't need to announce it. They just alpha, right?
Right. One of the good ones means that women have rejected him for
Yeah.
being too nice. Right. They've said, like, it's not you, it's me. I think we should just be friends. He's been friend zoned by beautiful women that he thinks should go out with him.
Mm-hmm.
And nice guys finish last.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you are right on the money.
Yeah. You don't, if you're a good guy, you just do good guy things.
Right.
You
Yes.
treat you treat people well. If you have to announce that you're good,
Yeah, it's
you're
part of
not
who
good.
you are. Yeah, being good is just who you are. It's not a something I put at the top of my list of attributes. Like, I'm a good person. Well,
And the 2 gender things was a lot. Not because he's like, I have a firm stance on 2 genders. It's like, okay,
yeah. Fine.
I understand that some people have that opinion,
Yeah,
some people
sure.
don't. That is not for me to debate, right?
Right.
The fact that he obsesses about it
Yeah, it's weird.
is weird.
I agree.
That
Why
is
do you
like
care
his
what's happening in people's
signature.
pants? Why do you care what's going on in someone's pants?
Why do you care? If somebody wants to identify as a turtle, I'll call him Myrtle. It does not affect my life. I do not give a shit, right?
Bingo.
But I'm not going to sit here and obsess about any of that. So the fact that he's obsessing about these things is a huge red flag for me because
I
it's
would
like,
agree with you. I think that's weird as fuck.
don't you
Like,
have hobbies? Like, can't you go tinker?
no, his hobby, Kelly, is watching reruns of Tucker Carlson, old clips of Rush Limbaugh,
Yes.
and he just never turns Fox News off. That's what's
Just
happening.
jerking off to Ronald Reagan clips, just like, oh,
Yeah,
this is when
that
America was great.
America was great.
Oh.
Reagan was wonderful.
Which is, hey, listen, if that's your
There's nothing
thing,
wrong. Whatever floats your boat.
hey, I'm
But not
not here to judge like where you're at on the political spectrum. That's if
right.
that's where your beliefs are and that's how you feel, great. But if
You
you're
do you, boo.
obsessing,
Yeah.
you do you, boo, boo, boo.
Yeah. Boo boo. Listen, whatever floats your boat, but I'm not getting on that boat with you because you're gonna push me right the fuck off into the water.
But he
But
won't.
Kelly, he's one of the good guys.
He is one of the good
Remember?
guys. He's gonna golf with your dad.
No. Number one, my dad is almost 80, so that's not happening.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think we agree. Brooks is most likely to be featured on Dateline.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'd
like
rather not be on Dateline.
no, I'd rather not either. Greg seems like a good guy. He seems like he just likes to like
Yeah.
tinker. He likes to go maybe to an antique show.
Sure.
Just likes
Car
to
show.
car show.
Old
Just
car
likes to be
show.
out and about. Has little things
Yeah.
to do. I can dig that.
I don't want to do any of that, Kelly.
Listen, he it
No,
seems
thank
like he's
you.
happy to do all that by himself.
He might. And honestly, there are a lot of people and a lot of women that would love to do that and
Yeah.
would have a blast.
Yeah.
So it's just not for me, but no judgment. I think it sounds great.
Yeah. I mean, also Ryan seemed great until he said camping. You're
Mhm.
not going to get your girl here camping.
Yeah, that's okay.
I like
He can
I'll
go with his
glamp.
buddy. Yeah, he can go with his buds.
He can go out with his buddies, and he can decide if he's more scared of the bear or the man
Yeah.
in the woods.
Listen, if you don't know what we're talking about, there was this TikTok
Mhm.
trendy question going around. Would you rather your girl, your woman, your lady, your daughter, or yourself, if you identify that way, be
Mhm.
stuck in the woods with a bear or a man you don't know?
Mhm.
And women pretty much unanimously have agreed we'd rather be in the woods with a bear
Yeah.
for a multitude of reasons, but really the biggest one is everyone would believe me if I got attacked by a bear,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
And like,
also,
if a
like,
bear attacked you, it would just be like, you know,
it's
quick.
over.
Yeah.
Quick
You
and
don't have to
easy.
worry about any of the other stuff that would probably happen.
Right. Yeah. So it is interesting to me. There have been plenty of men that have an opinion about this. Now, I will say it's not every man, but it's also not every bear.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's plenty of men out there that would help you in that scenario,
Yeah.
would be on your side, who would not hurt you, who would, help you. There, of course there is. That's not what we're saying. The issue is we just don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just have to think, who would you like your child to be left in the woods with?
I've thought about this. I have a daughter. I have two daughters, okay? And I asked our oldest and she 100% agreed bear,
Yeah.
right? My other daughter is 10 and in my opinion the bear would not harm her because
Yeah.
she's not a threat. And honestly, that girl is like an animal whisperer. So she'd probably be like the Goldilocks and the three bears living in the
She comes
woods,
out like
helping
riding.
mama with the
She's
babies,
just
like
riding the bear.
riding the bear down to the river. Like she would be living her best bear life. And that would be her new family. And that I truly believe that she is no threat to the bear, but she's absolutely a target to a man. So
Love that.
yeah, funny.
Yeah.
Okay, well, on that happy little note, I
Yeah.
have some great news from the State of the Union.
Ooh, it's time for the State of the Union? Hell yeah.
It's time.
Where are we going today?
So today's State of the Union is in sunny Arizona.
Ooh.
It's a good one because it's a little bit in line with what we were talking about during the pop culture pop off, the true crime version. But there's not really a crime associated with this. But I'm just going to read you the beginning of this article. Okay.
Okay.
It's probably not the strangest item ever donated to a Goodwill store, but employees of a thrift store in the Phoenix area knew exactly what to do when they saw what looked like a human skull in one of their donation boxes.
Oh,
They called the police.
yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
Listen to this, Kelly. You're going to die. I mean, not really, but you're going to die. So officers respond to this phone call to the Goodwill stores, and they took possession of the skull, which was covered in spots, had its front upper teeth attached, and a false eye in the left eye socket.
Oh my God.
They confirmed, in fact, it was a real human skull for sure.
Oh my God.
It seemed to be pretty historic, though. So it seemed to be old. There was no forensic DNA on it, no associated crime. They do not know who donated the skull and why they would send it to Goodwill of all places.
God.
But someone was like going through their dad's boxes and they're like, what the fuck is this? Keep or trash? Keep or trash?
Which one? This looks good. Oh, that's Uncle Bill. He's good.
Uncle Bill. Remember that eye? It'd always fall out at Thanksgiving, roll across the table.
Good old Uncle Bill.
Good old Uncle Bill. We don't need him anymore. May he rest in peace. So yeah, somebody went through their shit, found a skull with a fake eye and the top teeth still in, put that in the donate box and dropped that motherfucker off in Arizona.
Arizona. Love it.
Arizona. Can you imagine, like, what if you were like shopping at Goodwill? Do you ever just go to like a thrift store or like
Yeah.
Goodwill or like peruse through shit?
Yeah,
Just
I
to
love
see-
to just pick random outfits and then go out with them.
Oh hell yeah, that's like the best. But can you imagine if you like some employee was like, oh, it's like a Halloween thing.
Yeah.
And they put it on the shelf. And someone was like, this is cool. And then they're like, wait, that's real.
Like, holy shit, that's human.
Somebody is missing a head. Someone's missing a head somewhere.
Headless horseman rides again.
Ooh, freaky.
Somebody walking around with a pumpkin on fire on their head.
What's that movie with Johnny Depp? Headless Horseman. It's called something.
Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, God, you pulled that right out of your ass. I need you for trivia.
I'm so fucking good at trivia. It's ridiculous.
You are. God,
you know who's better though? My sister. My sister is like
really
a fucking trivia savant. And I thought I was a dum-dum because I'm always like playing with my sister.
Yeah.
And she's so smart.
Yeah.
But no, it just is my sister's really smart and everyone else is dum-dums.
Well, damn. That's amazing.
Yeah, perfect. I love it. I'm here for it. Well, should we wrap it up, Beck?
Let's wrap it up.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to Lewd Mood. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Becky.
Bye.
Lewd Mood Podcast is produced by Kelly Lally and Becky Pospisil.
Music by Paul Size of Red Beat Entertainment.
Listen to our podcast anytime on Spotify Podcasts.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Lewd Mood